The Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption Act No. 11 of 2007 established FICAC as a powerful response to the widespread corruption in Fiji. Prevalent and almost expected for decades, corruption increased the hardship in the lives of everyday Fijians and visitors alike. The Act empowers the Commission to receive complaints, to investigate and to prosecute corruption-related offences on behalf of the people of Fiji. FICAC also endeavours to educate the public on how corruption steals opportunities from the vulnerable and how people can help prevent corruption. The legitimacy of FICAC is entrenched in the Constitution of the Republic of Fiji under Section 115. Fighting corruption requires multifaceted expertise. It is not only about investigations and prosecution. Proactive corruption prevention methods play a great role in the fight against corruption. Developing an elite force of skilled, confident, and effective investigators and prosecutors is a strategy long held by the Commission. Officers are routinely deployed to international training programs as well as dominating in locally organized courses in investigative skills, financial management, self-defense, and other competencies. Fighting corruption requires a robust, holistic approach. Well-qualified Commission officers hold degrees in accounting, land management, information technology, finance, law, and more. Further training has proven beneficial for the Commission as the number of serving officers sponsored to attend specialized courses currently hold Certified Forensic Computer Examiner certificates, Certification in Fraud Examination, and Integrity Officer certification from the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Academy. Fighting white-collar crime is a specialized job that requires an expert mindset where seasoned lawyers can spot crucial elements early and map a clear road to conviction. Abilities and skills developed over years of practice are fine-tuned to international standards. The Commission takes all corruption matters seriously, evolving from minor bribery in the early years to investigating and prosecuting complex cases involving prominent public figures engaged in million-dollar scams. Kenny Ndakuindraketi. Kenny was a director at the Native Land Trust Board, now known as the Itauke Land Trust Board, and the chairman of Vanua Development Cooperative Limited. By virtue of his appointments, he was entrusted to use and invest NLTB funds for the benefit of the Itauke, or the indigenous landowners of Fiji. But instead, he abused his authority and swindled millions of dollars out of NLTB funds and government grants under the pretense of investments. NLTB, or the Itauke people, did not receive any benefit nor recovered a single dollar from the money that he drained out of NLTB. The amount NLTB lost through his abuse was approximately 5 million Fijian dollars. He was found guilty by the High Court for the offences he was charged with and was imprisoned for 6 years. Mahendra Motibai Patel. Mahendra Motibai Patel was the chairman of Post Fiji Limited, a government commercial entity, and the chairman of Motibai Company Limited. He was charged for violating the tender procedures of Post Fiji Limited and authorizing the purchase of an external wall clock for Post Fiji, priced at $75,000 from his own company, Motibai Company Limited. Motibai acted in conflict of interest and abused his authority as the chairman of Post Fiji Limited. As the court pointed out whilst sentencing, Patel was motivated by greed to increase his corporate wealth. He was convicted and sentenced to 12 months imprisonment. Foana Nemani. Foana Nemani was the acting general manager of FNPF and was charged for misappropriating approximately $60,000 from FNPF funds. She accepted various illegal payments that she was not entitled to receive and also approved similar payments to his former CEO, Olota Rokovunise. She was convicted and sentenced to 26 months imprisonment. She fled the country before the trial and the court has issued an open warrant against her. Feroz Jan and Ilyesa Turangadati. Feroz Jan's company was contracted by the former Department of National Roads to build roads in the interior of Nosori's highlands in the Western Division. Instead of building roads, he bribed the Department of National Roads accountant Ilyesa Turangadati and fraudulently obtained more than $3 million from the Department of National Roads. He paid more than $100,000 in bribes to the Department of National Roads accountant Ilyesa Turangadati. Feroz Jan was convicted of bribery and obtaining financial advantages of over $3 million by the court and imprisoned for 8 years, while the accountant Ilyesa Turangadati was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. Former staff of the PWD. Former accounts staff of the PWD were charged with fraudulently using public funds in the guise of procuring stationery for PWD. $428,000 was siphoned off from PWD, and some related cases are still pending in court. Viliame Katia. Former Deputy Official Receiver Viliame Katia was charged for swindling more than $4 million from the bankruptcy and liquidation accounts of the Official Receiver's Office. He engaged in repetitive and systemic corrupt activities over many years. He was charged with various offenses of abuse of office, forgery, embezzlement, and obtaining financial advantage under the Penal Code and Crimes Act. The court, considering the seriousness of the matter, imposed a 23-year imprisonment. In December 2020, FICAC initiated prosecution against various politicians who are also members of parliament for corruptly obtaining financial advantages to the tune of $180,000. 3 were convicted and sentenced, whilst other matters are still pending in court. Similarly, FICAC has successfully prosecuted 166 cases, and another 177 are pending before the court. FICAC endeavors to keep raising the level of public awareness and empowering people with the fundamental knowledge on anti-corruption tactics. The Corruption Prevention Department specializes in developing engaging awareness programs and corruption risk assessment workshops. The Corruption Prevention Department has conducted over 2,800 awareness sessions to organizations, communities, schools, government ministries, and departments. Corruption risk assessment workshops, where various ministries, authorities, city and town councils have had their systems, procedures, and policies evaluated for areas where corruption could occur and how they could best remedy these weak points. The Corruption Risk Assessment Workshops contributed to the launching of the Anti-Corruption Policy Booklet to the following organizations: the Land Transport Authority, the Ministry of Itauke Affairs, the Fiji Revenue and Customs Service, the Fiji National Provident Fund, the Fiji Competition and Consumer Commission. The launch of the anti-bribery campaign by the former president, retired Major General Tiochi Konusi Konrote, with delegates from the diplomatic corps, public and private sector organizations in attendance. Corporate integrity pledges, which encourage companies to make internal commitments to be ethical and transparent in order to discourage corruption in the private sector. The Good Kiddo program, which targets primary school students in an effort to get in early into the mindset of the youth the importance of being vigilant and proactive against corruption. Ethics, values, and anti-bribery training for corporate bodies and government. These are some of the products that the Corruption Prevention Department offers in educating Fijians, and there are many other projects being developed and implemented. Transparency International, in its latest 2021 Corruption Perception Index, ranked Fiji within the least 45 corrupt countries in the world. FICAC will continue to fight corruption fiercely to help the people of our beautiful Fiji live lives free of corruption. FICAC for a better Fiji.